3 weeks had passed since the confrontation with the Threxian Empire. The Eternal Horizon still floated in the neutral zone, but now it was surrounded by dozens of diplomatic shuttles instead of warships. Representatives from across the galaxy wanted to talk, to trade, to understand humanity better. Dr. Sora Lee stood in her laboratory aboard the ship, hosting a group of alien scientists. They crowded around her workstation, their various forms creating a strange rainbow of colors and shapes. She was explaining human technology to them, and their confusion was evident. "But why use physical projectiles?" asked a Velkari scientist. "Energy weapons are more efficient." "Are they, though?" Sora pulled up a comparison chart. "Your energy weapons need massive power generators. They drain shields quickly. Our railguns use minimal power, and the ammunition is cheap. Plus, kinetic barriers don't drain our energy reserves the same way shields do." A Quarren scientist, a floating being made of crystalline material, chimed in. "Your approach requires physical storage of ammunition. What happens when you run out?" "We manufacture more," Sora said simply. She showed them images of the Eternal Horizon's internal factories. "We can make ammunition from asteroids. We can grow food in hydroponics. We can fabricate replacement parts. We're completely self-sufficient." The alien scientists exchanged glances. One of them, a small creature with 6 eyes, spoke quietly. "You built your ship assuming you'd be alone. That's why it's so different from ours." "Exactly," Sora said. "You have supply lines, support fleets, and space stations. We didn't know if we'd have any of that. So we built a ship that could survive on its own for years." Meanwhile, on Crossroads Apex Station, Captain Jiho sat across from Ambassador Tyrion in a private meeting room. Between them, a holographic document floated, showing the proposed terms for humanity's entry into the Galactic Council. "Provisional membership," Jiho read aloud. "What does that mean exactly?" Tyrion's forearms gestured diplomatically. "It means humanity would be part of the Council, but with limited voting rights. For the first 50 years, Earth would have observer status on military and territorial matters." 50 years. Jiho raised an eyebrow. "That's 2 human generations." "It's standard procedure for newly discovered species," Tyrion explained. "It gives you time to learn our ways, to integrate into galactic society gradually." Jiho leaned back. "And during these 50 years, are we allowed to expand outside our solar system?" "That would require approval from neighboring species. So we'd be trapped in our home system, dependent on others for permission to grow." Tyrion seemed uncomfortable. "Captain, please understand. The galaxy has rules, order. We can't simply allow new species to expand unchecked." "Why not? Is there a shortage of space?" Jiho gestured to the window where stars filled the view. "The galaxy is enormous. There are billions of uninhabited systems. It's not about space. It's about preventing conflict. By controlling who can do what." Jiho shook his head. "Ambassador, I appreciate your honesty. But humanity can't accept these terms. We won't trade our independence for a seat at your table." Tyrion's silver skin seemed to darken. "Captain, you must understand what you're refusing. Protection from aggressive species. Access to advanced technology. Trade agreements. Without Council membership, Earth will be isolated." "We've been isolated for millions of years," Jiho said calmly. "We can handle a few more decades if necessary." News of humanity's rejection spread quickly. In council chambers across the galaxy, debates erupted. Some species thought humanity was being foolish. Others admired their independence. A few saw opportunity. Counselor Hyunwoo found himself besieged by offers. Smaller species wanted alliance with humanity, hoping to gain protection. Larger empires offered technology exchanges, trying to gain influence. Trade corporations offered exclusive contracts. "It's overwhelming," he told Suman in their quarters. "Everyone wants something from us now." Suman was analyzing intelligence reports on her datapad. "Not everyone is happy, though. I'm detecting increased military activity on our borders. Multiple species are moving fleets into position. Are they planning to attack? I don't think so. More like containment. They're worried about what we might do, so they're preparing to block any expansion." Hyunwoo rubbed his tired eyes. "We've traded one problem for another. We're not subjugated, but we're surrounded." On Earth, Admiral Hana Choi was having similar thoughts. She stood in the command center beneath the Swiss Alps, watching display screens showing the political situation. The Eternal Horizon had succeeded in making first contact and avoiding subjugation, but humanity's position was precarious. Her communication officer approached. Admiral, incoming priority message from Captain Jiho. The screen activated, showing Jiho's face. Despite the distance, the quantum communication was crystal clear. Admiral, we need to discuss our next move. I'm listening, Hana said. The galaxy is waiting to see what we do next. If we stay passive, they'll slowly tighten restrictions until we're trapped. But if we're too aggressive, we risk war. We need a middle path. Do you have a suggestion? Yes, we reveal our full capabilities. Hana frowned. That's risky. If they know how strong we are, they might unite against us. Or they might realize that attacking us would be too costly. Right now, they're uncertain. Uncertainty breeds fear, and fear can lead to preemptive strikes. But if we show them exactly what we have, they can make informed decisions. Hana considered this. What are you proposing exactly? We announce that Earth has 7 more Titan-class vessels under construction. We invite neutral observers to tour our shipyards. We release specifications of our technology. We make it clear that we're not hiding anything because we have nothing to fear. That's either brilliant or insane, Hana said. Probably both. It's honest, Jiho said. And right now, honesty might be our best weapon. 2 days later, humanity made their announcement. The news shocked the galaxy. 8 Titan-class vessels? The Eternal Horizon wasn't unique. It was just the first of a fleet. And humanity was willing to share technical data, proving their confidence. The reaction was immediate. Some species panicked. Others began recalculating their strategies. A few reached out with genuine respect. Commander Krethos of the Threxian Empire sent a personal message to Captain Jiho. You fought with honor, and now you speak with truth. The Threxian Empire proposes joint military exercises. We would like to learn from your tactics and perhaps teach you some of ours. It was an unprecedented offer. The Threxians never shared their military knowledge. But they recognized strength and they respected those who earned it. Captain Jiho accepted. Within weeks, Threxian ships and the Eternal Horizon were conducting training exercises. At first, both sides were cautious, testing each other. But gradually, mutual respect grew into something close to friendship. Dr. Sora led technology exchange programs with multiple species. Humanity traded kinetic barrier technology for advanced energy shield designs. Both sides benefited, creating interdependence that made conflict less likely. Engineer Doyen found himself hosting groups of alien engineers, showing them how human ships were maintained. In return, he learned about alien power systems and faster-than-light technology that was more efficient than Earth's current designs. Lieutenant Yuna became Earth's chief diplomatic translator. Her skills in demand across the galaxy, she discovered that many species had similar hopes and fears, despite their different appearances. Everyone wanted safety, prosperity, and a chance for their children to thrive. Then, 6 months after first contact, something changed everything. Deep space sensors, both human and alien, detected an anomaly. A massive energy signature was approaching the galaxy from the dark space between galaxies. It was moving at incredible speed, and it was clearly artificial. Within hours, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Captain Jiho attended via hologram from the Eternal Horizon. Ambassador Tyrion looked shaken. We've detected this signature before in ancient records. It's the same threat that destroyed civilizations thousands of years ago. We thought they were gone, but they're returning. What are they? Jiho asked. We don't know. They've never communicated. They simply arrive, destroy everything they find, and move on. The last time they came, we lost 17 star systems before they left. A heavy silence filled the chamber. Every species present knew what this meant. An existential threat to all life in the galaxy. An old Stellarch representative spoke, his voice tired. We will need to unite all our fleets. Every ship, every species working together. Even then, our chances are uncertain. Jiho looked at the data scrolling across his display. The threat was months away, maybe a year. They had time to prepare, but not much. The Eternal Horizon will stand with you, he said. And when our sister ships are completed, they will join the defense as well. Ambassador Tyrion looked at him with what might have been gratitude. Captain Park, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I apologize for our earlier skepticism. We see now why humanity built such powerful vessels. You saw this coming, didn't you? We saw evidence of massive conflicts, Jiho admitted. We didn't know the details, but we knew the galaxy was dangerous. That's why we came prepared. Over the following weeks, the galaxy transformed. Old rivalries were set aside. Trade routes became supply lines. The Threxian commander was not a patient being. His name was Krethos, and he had conquered 17 star systems in his military career. He looked at the human ship on his display and felt insulted. These newcomers dared to defy the Threxian Empire. They needed to learn their place. Fire, he ordered. 3 battlecruisers unleashed their weapons simultaneously. Plasma torpedoes streaked through space, glowing like angry stars. Energy beams lanced out, capable of melting through meter-thick armor. The combined firepower was enough to destroy most capital ships in seconds. On the eternal horizon, alarms shrieked. "Incoming fire," the sensor officer yelled. Commander Taeyang watched calmly as the projectiles approached. Kinetic barriers, full power. Point defense, take out what you can. Brace for impact. The plasma torpedoes hit first, but instead of exploding against the hull, they struck an invisible wall 50 meters from the ship. The kinetic barriers, generated by powerful magnetic fields, dispersed the plasma harmlessly. The energy beams followed, but they too scattered against the barriers, their power bleeding away into space. The entire attack lasted 15 seconds. When it ended, the eternal horizon floated undamaged, its barriers glowing faintly blue from the absorbed energy. On his bridge, Commander Krethos stared in disbelief. How did they stop that? His tactical officer was equally confused. "Sir, their shields are different from anything we've encountered. They're not deflecting energy. They're using kinetic force to disperse it. Fire again." "Sir, perhaps we should—" "I said fire." On the eternal horizon, Taeyang watched the second volley approach. "Well, we tried peace. Weapons, you're authorized to return fire. Remember, disable only. Fighter wings, launch." Deep in the belly of the massive ship, bay doors opened. Commander Minjiro led the first wave, her fighter screaming out into space. Behind her, 300 more fighters followed, small and fast, like angry hornets leaving their nest. The aliens had never seen fighters like these. Most galactic civilizations used automated drones or single-pilot craft, but human fighters were different. Each one carried a crew of 2, a pilot and a weapons officer working in perfect coordination. Minji's voice crackled over the squadron channel. "Gold Squadron, form up on me. Silver Squadron, take the flanks. Remember, we're disabling, not destroying. Target their weapon systems and engines." The fighters swarmed toward the Threxian battlecruisers. The alien ships tried to track them with their defensive weapons, but the fighters were too small, too fast, too unpredictable. They weaved through space in patterns that seemed random but were actually carefully choreographed. "Fox 3, Minji called, launching a missile. It was a small projectile, barely 2 meters long, but it moved at incredible speed. It struck the first battlecruiser's plasma cannon, and the weapon exploded in a shower of sparks. All around the Threxian ships, human missiles found their targets. Weapon after weapon went offline. The aliens tried to adapt, tried to fight back, but they were overwhelmed by sheer numbers and tactics they had never encountered. On the eternal horizon, Taeyang watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Main guns target the lead battlecruiser, fire a warning shot across their bow. One of the 400 railgun batteries swiveled and fired. A tungsten rod, accelerated to a fraction of light speed, shot across space. It passed within meters of the Threxian flagship, close enough that their sensors screamed warnings. "Second shot will not miss," Taeyang transmitted on all frequencies. But Commander Krethos was stubborn. "All ships ramming speed. We'll destroy them in close combat." The 3 battlecruisers accelerated toward the eternal horizon. It was a desperate move, the kind of tactic used only when all else failed. Taeyang sighed. "They're not making this easy. Point defense network, activate." Suddenly, the space around the eternal horizon came alive. 2,000 automated railgun turrets activated simultaneously, creating a sphere of deadly projectiles. The guns fired in perfect coordination, their targeting computers linked into one unified system. The Threxian ships flew into this wall of steel. Thousands of small tungsten rounds peppered their hulls. None of the shots were large enough to penetrate deep, but they didn't need to be. They tore through sensors, communication arrays, engine nacelles, and shield generators. Within 30 seconds, all 3 Threxian battlecruisers were drifting. Powerless and blind, Minji pulled her fighter back. "Gold leader to eternal horizon. Enemy ships disabled. No casualties reported on our side." "Copy that, Gold leader. Return to base." "Well done. Engineer Doyen checked his damage reports. Commander, we took some hits during their first volley. Minor damage to outer hull sections. Repair crews are already on it. We'll be at 100% in 30 minutes. Taiyang opened a channel to the Threxian flagship. Commander Krethos, this is Commander Taeyang Kim of the Eternal Horizon. Your ships are disabled, but your crews are safe. We're sending medical assistance if you need it. Stand down. There was a long silence. Then grudgingly, Krethos responded, How? How did you defeat 3 battlecruisers so easily? Different technology, different tactics, Taeyang said. Your weapons are powerful, but we designed our defenses specifically to counter energy-based attacks. Your ships are fast, but our fighters are faster. You expected us to fight like other species. We don't. Another pause. You spared us. Why? Because we're not here to make enemies. We're here to find our place in the galaxy, but we won't be pushed around. Tell your empire, humanity offers friendship to those who respect us, but we will defend ourselves against those who don't. On Crossroads Apex Station, the entire diplomatic gallery had watched the battle in stunned silence. When it ended, chaos erupted. Representatives shouted, argued, demanded explanations. Captain Jiho stood calmly amid the noise. Beside him, Dr. Sora looked worried. Captain, did we just start a war? I don't think so, Jiho said, watching his ship on the display. Look. On the screen, the Threxian battlecruisers were activating emergency power. But they weren't preparing to fight. They were preparing to retreat. Slowly, the damaged ships began limping away from the Eternal Horizon. Then something unexpected happened. Commander Krethos transmitted a message on open channels for everyone to hear. The Threxian Empire acknowledges the strength of humanity. You fought with honor. We will not forget this day. Lieutenant Yuna, who had been translating, looked up in surprise. Captain, in Threxian culture, that's a statement of respect. He's saying we earned our place. Ambassador Tyrion of the Velkari approached Jiho. Her forearms were crossed, and what he had learned was a gesture of deep thought. Captain Park, you could have destroyed those ships. You had the power, but you chose mercy combined with overwhelming force. That was well calculated. It wasn't calculation, Jiho said honestly. We don't want to kill people. We just want to be left alone to pursue our own path. A noble sentiment, Tyrion said. But you must understand what you've done. You've demonstrated military capabilities that concern many species. Some will see you as protectors. Others will see you as threats. The galaxy will never view humanity the same way again. Counselor Hyunwoo joined them. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. They want to address humanity's status immediately. Jiho nodded. Then let's go address it. As they walked toward the council chamber, Sumin leaned close to Hyunwoo. This went better than expected. We won the fight without casualties, showed restraint, and earned Threxian respect. But now comes the hard part. What's that? Convincing the rest of the galaxy that we're not a threat. One battle was easy. The politics will be much harder. In the council chamber, dozens of alien species waited. Some looked at Jiho with newfound respect. Others seemed fearful. A few appeared angry. The session began and the questions came fast. How many more ships like the Eternal Horizon did humanity have? What were Earth's territorial ambitions? Would humanity seek to expand aggressively? Jiho answered each question honestly. We have 1 Titan-class vessel currently operational. More are being built, yes, because we need to defend our home. We claim only our solar system as territory. We have no plans for conquest. We want trade, cultural exchange, and peaceful coexistence. A representative from a small species stood up. But what if we can't defend ourselves? What if larger empires threaten us? Would humanity help? Jiho paused. This was a trap question. If he said yes, it would seem like humanity wanted to be a galactic police force. If he said no, they would appear selfish. We would consider each situation individually, he said carefully. Humanity believes in protecting the weak, but we won't impose ourselves where we're not wanted. Ask us for help and we'll listen. But we won't force our protection on anyone. More debate followed, but slowly a consensus formed. Humanity was powerful, yes, but they had shown restraint. They had shown honor. Perhaps they could be trusted. As the session ended, Jiho felt exhausted. They had passed the first test, but he knew many more would come. Lieutenant Yuna Shin couldn't sleep. She lay in her quarters aboard Crossroads Apex Station, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with everything she had learned. The translator implant behind her ear hummed softly, still processing the dozens of alien languages she had encountered that day. She sat up and activated her datapad. For hours, she had been granted access to the Galactic Archives, a vast library of historical records spanning 50,000 years. What she found there disturbed her deeply. "Computer, show me records of newly discovered species over the past 10,000 years, she commanded. The screen filled with data. Hundreds of species had been discovered and integrated into galactic civilization. But as Yuna dug deeper, she noticed a pattern. Many of these species had been placed under protection agreements with older, more powerful empires. The agreements looked good on paper, offering technology sharing and defense support. But the reality was different. Protected species rarely developed their own military forces. They depended on their protectors for security. Over time, they lost independence. Some eventually became little more than client states, following orders from their supposed partners. Yuna's hands trembled as she made the connection. This was what the galaxy expected from humanity. They wanted Earth to accept a protection agreement, to place trust in alien empires that had existed for millennia. They wanted humanity to be grateful and compliant. "We can't let that happen," she whispered to herself. She sent an encrypted message to Captain Jiho, marked urgent. On the eternal horizon, Commander Taeyang Kim sat in the captain's chair, monitoring the sensors. The alien ships around them had multiplied. What started as a dozen vessels was now nearly 100. Some were just curious observers, but others were definitely military scouts. "Sir, we're being scanned again," reported the sensor officer. "6th time in the past hour." "Let them scan," Taeyang said calmly. "They won't learn much." The truth was the eternal horizon was designed to be confusing. Its outer hull was layered with composite materials that deflected most scanning attempts. What readings the aliens did get would show contradictory information. Some systems would appear advanced, others primitive. It was intentional misdirection. Engineer Doyen entered the bridge carrying a cup of coffee. Despite the tension, he seemed relaxed. "Commander, I've been analyzing the alien ship designs. Want to know something interesting?" "Always. Their ships are elegant, efficient, and specialized. Each vessel has a specific role. Warships fight, science ships explore, trade ships carry cargo. But look at us." Doyen gestured around the bridge. "The eternal horizon is everything at once. We can fight, explore, manufacture, grow food, conduct research, and house a small city. We're not specialized. We're adaptable." "Is that better?" Taeyang asked. "In a short war? Maybe not. But in a long conflict, adaptability wins. We can repair ourselves, resupply ourselves, and sustain ourselves for years without help. Most alien ships need regular support from space stations." Taeyang nodded thoughtfully. This was why humanity had built the Titan-class vessels differently. Earth was alone in the galaxy, with no allies and no support network. Every ship had to be self-sufficient. His communication panel beeped. It was Captain Jiho. "Taeyang, I need you to run a simulation. If those Threxian battlecruisers attack, what are our chances?" "Running it now, sir." Taeyang input the parameters into the tactical computer. The Threxian ships were smaller than the Eternal Horizon, but still formidable. 3 against 1 with unknown weapons and capabilities. The simulation ran. The results appeared on his screen. "Sir, we win decisively. The simulation shows minimal damage to our ship, complete destruction of theirs, but what? The simulation assumes our technology catches them by surprise. If they adapt to our tactics, subsequent battles become harder. We can't rely on the element of surprise forever." "Understood. Keep monitoring them. If they make any aggressive moves, you're authorized to defend the ship." Back on the station, Captain Jiho sat in a private meeting room with Counselor Hyunwoo and Suman. Yuna had just finished explaining her findings from the archives. "Protection agreements," Hyunwoo said bitterly. "I've been offered 3 in the past year alone. The Velkari, the Stellark Empire, even the Quarren Collective. They all phrase it as helping us, but it's really about control." "Can we refuse?" Jiho asked. Suman pulled up data on her pad. "Technically, yes, but species that refuse protection often face pressure. Economic sanctions, territorial disputes, sometimes even military intervention. The galaxy has ways of dealing with stubborn newcomers." Jiho felt anger rising in his chest. "So we either submit or fight?" "There might be a third option," Hyunwoo said carefully. "Respect. If we prove we're strong enough to stand on our own, they can't force us into anything. But we need to demonstrate that strength without starting a war." "How?" Before Hyunwoo could answer, an alarm sounded. Yuna checked her communication device. Captain, it's the Threxian Empire. They've issued a statement declaring the Outer Rim sector as protected territory. They're demanding the Eternal Horizon leave immediately. Jiho stood up. Get me a channel to my ship. Within minutes, he was connected to Commander Taeyang. Status: 3 Threxian battle cruisers moving into intercept positions. They're not firing yet, but their weapons are hot. I think this is a test, sir. Jiho looked at Hyunwoo and Suman. What happens if we back down? We become another protected species, Suman said quietly. Earth loses its chance at independence, and if we fight, we either earn their respect or start a war that could destroy humanity. Dr. Sora Lee, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke. Captain, I've been talking to other scientists here. The Threxians respect strength above all else. If we fight and win, they'll honor us. But if we fight and slaughter them, they'll seek revenge. It has to be measured. Jiho closed his eyes for a moment, thinking. Back on Earth, Admiral Hana Choi was probably watching this unfold, unable to help from billions of kilometers away. The decision was his alone. He opened his eyes. Taeyang, I'm authorizing a limited response. If they attack, disable their ships but don't destroy them. Show them we can win without killing. Make it surgical, professional, and overwhelming. Understood, sir. What about rules of engagement? Don't fire first. But the moment they do, end it quickly. On the Eternal Horizon, Taeyang stood and addressed his bridge crew. You heard the captain. Battle stations. Fighter wings prepare for launch. Weapons arm all systems but target engines and weapons only. No kill shots. Medical teams prepare for casualties even though we're trying to avoid them. Throughout the massive ship, alarms blared. 180,000 people rushed to their positions. In the fighter bays, pilots like Commander Minji Ro climbed into their cockpits. In the Marine sections, Warrant Officer Seojin Oh prepared his troops for possible boarding actions. Engineer Doyen secured the engine room and checked every system twice. Come on, baby, he whispered to the ship. Show them what humanity can do. The Threxian commander sent one final transmission. Human vessel, you have 1 hour to leave our territory or face destruction. Commander Taeyang responded calmly. This is not your territory. It's neutral space. We will complete our diplomatic mission. If you attack us, you will regret it. The Threxian ships moved closer, their plasma cannons glowing with building energy. On the station, Captain Jiho watched through the observatory window as the confrontation developed. Beside him, dozens of alien diplomats also watched, knowing that what happened next would shape humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Here we go, Jiho whispered. Counselor Hyunwoo Nam sat in his small quarters on Crossroads Apex Station and watched the news feeds with growing excitement. For 5 years, he had been humanity's lone representative in the galaxy, trying to convince alien civilizations that Earth deserved a seat at the diplomatic table. For 5 years, they had ignored him, dismissed him, treated him like a child begging for attention. That had just changed. Suman, are you seeing this? He called out. His aide, Suman Bey, entered the room. She was a sharp woman with calculating eyes, officially listed as a diplomatic assistant. In reality, she worked for Earth's military intelligence. Every species in the galaxy is seeing it, Counselor. The Eternal Horizon's arrival has caused quite a panic. Hyunwoo laughed. It felt good to laugh after years of frustration. They kept telling me humanity wasn't ready for galactic politics. They said we were too young, too primitive. Now they're scrambling to understand how we built a ship that size. The Velkari have called an emergency council session, Suman said, reading from her data pad. They want to know our intentions. The Threxian Empire has moved 3 battle fleets to the border. The Quarren Collective is offering to mediate, and at least a dozen smaller species are asking us for alliance. Fear and opportunity, Hyunwoo mused. The 2 great motivators of politics. Outside his window, Crossroads Apex stretched out like a massive wheel spinning in space. The station was neutral territory, home to embassies from 47 different species. It was the heart of galactic diplomacy, where wars were prevented and trade deals were made. Hyunwoo had spent 5 years walking these corridors, attending meetings, making speeches that nobody listened to. Now, suddenly, everyone wanted to talk to him. His communication panel beeped. Suman checked it and raised an eyebrow. The Velkari ambassador requests an immediate meeting. She's on her way here now. Let her come, Hyunwoo said. It's about time they showed us some respect. Meanwhile, on the Eternal Horizon, Dr. Sora Lee was having the time of her life. Her screen showed incoming transmissions from dozens of alien vessels. Each one was trying to contact them, asking questions, demanding information. Some were polite, others were aggressive, but all of them were curious. "Captain, I'm getting communication requests in 17 different languages," she reported. "Should I respond?" Captain Jiho stood with his arms crossed, studying the tactical display. Dozens of alien ships surrounded them at a respectful distance. Some were clearly warships bristling with weapons. Others looked like science vessels or trading ships, probably here just to observe. "Pick the politest one and respond," Jiho said. "Let's not make enemies on our first day." Sora selected a transmission from a Velkari diplomatic ship called the Harmonious Inquiry. She activated the translation program she had built and spoke carefully. "This is Dr. Sora Lee of the United Earth Space Navy vessel Eternal Horizon. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations." There was a long pause. Then a voice responded, musical and strange, filtered through the translation software. "This is Ambassador Tyrian of the Velkari Dominion. Your arrival has caused considerable concern. Your vessel is larger than our battle stations. We must know your intentions." "Our intention is simple," Sora replied. "We want to meet our galactic neighbors and establish peaceful relations." "Then why arrive in a warship of such magnitude?" Sora glanced at Captain Jiho, who nodded for her to continue. "Because we don't know what kind of neighbors you are yet. We hope for peace, but we prepare for other possibilities." Another pause. When Ambassador Tyrian spoke again, her tone was different, almost amused. "An honest answer. Perhaps humanity is wiser than we assumed. Captain Jiho Park, I extend an invitation to visit Crossroads Apex Station for formal negotiations." "I accept," Jiho said, "but my ship stays here with weapons active and shields up." "That is acceptable. We have dispatched a shuttle to escort you." Lieutenant Yuna Shin, who had been monitoring other communications, suddenly looked worried. "Captain, I'm picking up military chatter. The Threxian Empire has ships in the area, and they don't sound friendly." Commander Taeyang pulled up additional sensor data. "Confirmed. 3 Threxian battlecruisers holding position, 2 light minutes away. They haven't made any aggressive moves yet, but they're definitely watching us." "Who are the Threxians?" Jiho asked. "Military empire," Suman had briefed him before. "They respect strength and despise weakness. They've been expanding aggressively for the past century." Engineer Doyen spoke up from his station. "Captain, if you're going to the station, you should see what we're dealing with first. I've been analyzing the alien ships out there. Their technology is different from ours." "Show me," Jiho said. Doyen projected holographic images of several alien vessels. "See these ships? They all use energy shields and plasma weapons. That's standard in the galaxy. But we use kinetic barriers and railguns. They've probably never seen technology like ours." "Is that good or bad?" Jiho asked. "Both," Doyen said with a slight grin. "It means they can't predict what we're capable of. But it also means we can't predict them. Different doesn't mean better or worse, just different." Jiho nodded slowly. This was the gamble Earth had taken. While other species had developed energy-based technology, humanity had gone a different route, focusing on physical projectiles and kinetic force. Nobody knew which approach was superior until they clashed. "Prepare a shuttle," Jiho ordered. "Taeyang, you have command while I'm gone. If anything happens, defend the ship, but don't start a war." "Understood." "Sir." 2 hours later, Jiho, Sora, and Yuna boarded a small human shuttle and flew toward Crossroads Apex. As they approached, Sora gasped. The station was beautiful, a massive structure covered in lights and docking ports. Ships of every shape and size came and went like bees around a hive. "Look at all of them," Yuna whispered. "So many different species." "And now we're one of them," Jiho said. They docked and were met by Ambassador Tyrian herself. She was tall and slender, with silver skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. Her forearms moved gracefully as she gestured welcome. "Captain Park, welcome to Crossroads Apex. You've caused quite a stir." "That wasn't our intention," Jiho said. "Perhaps not, but the result remains. Come, Counselor Hyunwoo is waiting, and the entire Galactic Council wants to meet you." As they walked through the station's corridors, Jiho noticed something. Everywhere they went, aliens stopped and stared. Some looked curious, others fearful, and a few seemed hostile. News of the Eternal Horizon had spread fast. They entered a massive chamber where representatives from dozens of species sat in a circular arrangement. Counselor Hyunwoo stood at the human section, looking both relieved and proud to see them. A voice boomed through the chamber, translated into multiple languages simultaneously. This session of the Galactic Council is now in session. We are here to address the arrival of the species known as humanity and their unprecedented vessel. Jiho stepped forward. We are honored to address this council. Humanity comes in peace. A representative from the Threxian Empire stood, a massive creature covered in armored scales. You say peace, yet you arrive with a weapon that could threaten entire worlds. Explain this contradiction. Jiho met the alien's gaze steadily. We hope for peace, but we're not fools. We've watched your galaxy from afar. We've seen the wars, the conflicts, the destruction. We built the eternal horizon to protect our home if necessary. If you want our trust, earn it. We'll do the same. Silence filled the chamber. Then slowly, some representatives began to nod. Others looked angry, but nobody could deny the logic. Yunwu smiled to himself. Humanity had finally gotten the galaxy's attention. Now came the hard part, figuring out what to do with it. Captain Jiho Park stood on the bridge of the eternal horizon and watched Earth grow smaller through the massive viewport. The blue planet that humanity called home was now just a glowing marble against the black canvas of space. Around him, dozens of officers worked at their stations, their fingers dancing across holographic displays. The bridge was alive with quiet efficiency. All systems green, Captain, Engineer Doyen Kang reported from his station. The man's weathered face showed satisfaction. He had spent 3 years building this ship, and now it was finally moving. Engines running at 30%. We're clearing the Luna shipyards now. Jiho nodded. The eternal horizon was 47 kilometers of steel, composite armor, and human ingenuity. It was the largest ship humanity had ever built. Outside the viewport, he could see the construction docks falling away. Hundreds of smaller vessels floated nearby, watching the giant warship depart. News cameras from every nation on Earth were recording this moment. Communications, send our departure confirmation to Fleet Command, Jiho said. Lieutenant Yuna Shin touched her earpiece and spoke softly. She was young, barely 26, but she was the best linguist in the United Earth Space Navy. Message sent, Captain. Admiral Hana Choi sends her regards and reminds us to be careful out there. Jiho smiled slightly. Admiral Hana had been his mentor for 15 years. She was back on Earth, managing the entire Space Navy from a bunker deep beneath the Swiss Alps. She had argued against this mission, saying it was too risky, but the United Earth Council had made their decision. Humanity was ready to meet the galaxy. Commander Taeyang, plot our course to the Outer Rim sector, Jiho ordered. Commander Taeyang Kim looked up from the tactical station. He was the youngest commander in the fleet, only 32 years old but brilliant. Course plotted, sir. We'll reach the neutral zone in 48 hours at current speed. Should I activate the faster-than-light drive? Not yet, Jiho said. Let's give the news cameras a good show first. Full impulse power until we clear Mars orbit. The ship hummed beneath their feet as the massive engines pushed them forward. The eternal horizon moved slowly, gracefully, like a whale swimming through an ocean. Inside the ship, 180,000 people were going about their duties. Some were military personnel manning weapons and shields. Others were scientists, engineers, doctors, and even teachers for the children born on long voyages. This wasn't just a warship. It was a mobile city. Dr. Sora Lee entered the bridge carrying a data pad. She was the chief science officer, a woman with bright eyes and an infectious enthusiasm for discovery. Captain, I've been reviewing the alien signal databases we've collected over the past decade. I think I've found patterns in their communications. Show me, Jiho said. Sora projected a hologram above the main display. Lines of data scrolled past, with certain sections highlighted in green. These are transmissions we've intercepted from the Valkyrie Dominion. They use a mathematical language structure. If I'm right, we can establish basic communication within hours of first contact. Good work, Doctor, Jiho said. But remember, we're not just here to talk. We're here to observe, learn, and protect Earth if necessary. Sora's smile faded slightly. She knew the truth, just like everyone on this ship. Earth's telescopes had detected something terrible in deep space 20 years ago. Massive energy signatures. Weapons that could destroy planets. Entire star systems going dark. Humanity had spent 2 decades building this ship because they knew the galaxy was dangerous. Captain, we're approaching Mars, the navigation officer called out. Ready for FTL jump on your command. Jiho took a deep breath. This was it. Once they jumped to faster than light speed, there was no going back. They would enter a galaxy filled with alien civilizations that had existed for thousands of years, civilizations that might see humanity as a threat or worse, as prey. "All hands, this is the captain," Jiho said into the ship-wide intercom. "We are about to make the first human jump into deep space. We go not as conquerors but as explorers. We go not with fear but with hope. But make no mistake, we are ready for anything. Battle stations, everyone." Throughout the ship, alarms sounded. Crews ran to their posts. Weapon batteries powered up. Fighter pilots climbed into their cockpits. Marines checked their equipment. Medical teams prepared emergency rooms. In minutes, the Eternal Horizon transformed from a peaceful city into a fortress ready for war. "Weapons ready," Commander Taiyang reported. "All 400 railgun batteries online. Missile tubes loaded. Point defense systems active. Kinetic barriers at full strength. Fighter wings ready for launch," added another officer. Jiho looked at his crew. They were scared, he could see it in their eyes. But they were also determined. They had trained for this moment. "Engineer Doyen, take us to FTL." "Aye, sir." Jumping in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside stretched into lines of light. The Eternal Horizon vanished from human space in a flash of blue energy. For the first time in history, humanity was traveling faster than light, heading toward the unknown. Light years away, on a space station orbiting a purple gas giant, a Velkari sensor technician noticed something strange on his display. A massive energy signature had just appeared on the edge of their territory. He adjusted his instruments, thinking it was a malfunction, but the reading remained. He called his supervisor, a female Velkari with silver skin and 4 arms. She looked at the display and her eyes widened. "How big is that ship?" she whispered. 47 kilometers, Commander," the technician said. "I've never seen anything that large. Not even our battle stations." "What species?" "Unknown. The energy signature is strange. It's using FTL, but the technology is different from anything in our databases." The supervisor touched a communication panel. "Get me the Dominion Council, now. We have a situation." Within hours, the news spread across the galaxy. An unknown species had entered civilized space with a warship larger than anything seen in 10,000 years. Diplomatic channels buzzed with speculation. Military fleets went on alert. Scientists analyzed the limited data available. In the neutral zone, the Eternal Horizon dropped out of FTL and drifted in empty space. Captain Jiho stood on the bridge and looked at the alien stars surrounding them. Somewhere out there, civilizations were watching them. "We're here," he said quietly. "Now we wait and see who comes to greet us." Commander Taiyang checked his sensors. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships approaching from different directions. Looks like we've got company." Jiho smiled grimly. "Then let's give them a proper human welcome. Yuna, prepare first contact protocols. Sora, get ready to talk. Everyone else, stay sharp." The galaxy had noticed humanity, and humanity was ready to meet it head-on.